we have a responsibility to stand against the attacks against Māori from this government. We are here by virtue of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. We have a responsibility to fight back against policies that do not serve and do not recognize the history of this country. And I think to me it says a lot when the government members are so happy to brush sides with the likes of Hobson's Pledge, to the likes of campaigners who have been running a strident anti-Māori campaign. It says a lot that they're now pushing ahead with anti-Māori legislation that is not based on evidence.
Yeah, good day.
I call Mariamino.
Tēnā koe. Madam Speaker, so I stand to address the Oranga Tamariki repeal of culture, repeal of custom, repeal of safety, repeal of protections and prosperity bill, soon to be lauded over all mokopuna and their whānau by a government and their spokesperson who knows nothing about Māori culture. In August of 1840, just 7 months after the signing of Te Tiriti o Waitangi, Madam Speaker, our very first tupuna was removed as a baby by colonial hands. The justification of this, listen up people, to save a Maori baby from the so-called evils of the pā, the evils of our people. This is your and our shared history. This act that has set the tone for generations was at that time summarised by one simple term, uplift, a word coined by the coloniser to mask their statutory act of thievery. 184 years later, no surprises, that word still stains Māori lives. The coloniser continues to use it to describe their theft of our children, a term that absolves them of accountability and then allows them to maintain the presumption that Māori are so inferior that we can simply be taken. This racist rhetoric is destructive, unhealed trauma masquerading as care and protection. Clearly, the apology and crocodile tears from the Minister to the survivors of abuse and care was more fake news, and within the same week...
Point of order, the Honourable Chris Pink.
Madam Speaker, I hesitate to interrupt the member, but it's clear breach of standing orders apart from anything else to imply or actually suggest in outright terms crocodile tears and fake news as though to bring into question the integrity and the honesty of the member in bringing forward her policy.
I understand the point of order. The member is correct, so I'll ask the member to resume, but to tone it down, please. Speaking to the point of order, WhangāreiTim.
Madam Speaker, every day we hear that coming from the opposition, from the government, and in particular the Deputy Prime Minister, where he talks about other members having their tongues flapping around in the wind and all of that type of stuff. That has never been pulled up. It's double standards and it's hypocrisy.
We're going to resume and we're going to treat each other with respect. Thank you, member.
Tears to the survivors of abuse and care is more fake news. And because at the same time, of course, the same bill...
I just warn the member, we have just been
Sorry, Madam Speaker. I didn't name a particular individual. I was just making it a generic statement.
I'm just warning the member, we're getting very close to being disorderly.
This is nothing more or less than a direct attack and direct assault on our mokopuna and on us all for being Māori. As was stated back in 1840, and here we are again in 2025, referring to the evils of our people. I challenge every Māori in this whare and every non-Māori and Pāti Māori, because I've heard that recently, that are responsible to and for mokopuna tamariki Māori to check your privilege, to check your fragility, to check your white tears, to check your racism and to check your sexism and misogyny, and get some counselling and education and free your mind. This is what happens when you internalise the racism and thanks the oppressor for the experience. All that's missing is a clause saying, thank you, massa. Tēnā tātou, you're welcome.